Hi guys, Dennis Harris here with Southeast Missouri Hypnosis Foundation, and I want to welcome you to this brand new video where we're going to do something a little bit different. You see, I've had the luxury of working with and doing a mentorship with some of the biggest legends in the hypnosis industry so far. Some of these people that I've worked with are so famous that TV shows, movies, news reporters go to them to ask them questions and feedback about how to do things. These are also people that charge thousands of dollars per hour for their clinical work because they're so successful and their name is so prevalent. Okay. So one of these ended up being my mentor for about 6 months, and he shared with me a phenomenal story that I'm going to share with you because stories, analogies, and metaphors are extremely important in the clinical office in helping get powerful, rapid change work done. It also applies to a lot of different things in our life. For example, it applies to me and the people around me. And I'm sure this story will apply to you in a lot of different ways as well. So, without further ado, I present to you the story of the abandoned queen and the Emerald King. In this story, it starts off a long time ago, as most stories usually do, in a kingdom far, far away. In fact, it involves several kingdoms. The Emerald King ruled over a kingdom that was rich in resources. His kingdom had a lot of gold and silver. His castle was covered in gold, ornate designs, and a lot of emerald. So, this is a country he ruled over. He had a lot of resources, he had a lot of options, and he was comfortable in the power and the authority that he used to rule over his country. He spent a lot of time working with the people of his country, getting to know them, learning about their trials and challenges and situations, and he tried to be as fair with them as he could. Right beside his country was another kingdom. This other kingdom had a king that had went off to war. He was bloodthirsty and he wanted to conquer some neighboring areas, so he had went off to war and was gone for months at a time. His wife, the queen, was left running the kingdom. Not only did she have to run the kingdom, she had to deal with all the peasants' demands, their complaints, the problems with running the kingdom, and she also had little children that she had to take care of and raise by herself because the king was off playing war with the military. Now, it just so happened that our Emerald King had a festival coming up in the kingdom. I don't remember what the special event was, but he had invited the king and the queen from the other country to attend. Obviously, because the other king was off at war, he could not attend. So his queen, along with her emissaries, came in his place. And as she arrived at the kingdom, the Emerald King welcomed her, and they had a big banquet and celebrated the special event. And he had time to talk with her quite a bit. He had time to ask her about what it was like in their country, ruling over the people of her country, what challenges they faced, what she thought of that, and her husband. And they spent several hours talking about all that. And the Emerald King got a really good idea of who she was and what she was about. And by the end of the festival, she packed up everything, and her and her engagement, left the country and went back to their kingdom. And by this time, the Emerald King was very disturbed by what he had heard, very worried and upset about what the things were that the queen had told him, or she had told him that the people around her, the assistants, the mayors, the people that ran these cities, the military, many of them were relatives of the king, for she had no family whatsoever except for the children. And when he went off to war, she was basically treated with disdain. She was ridiculed by many people. She was taken advantage of. She was laughed at by many of the people in the kingdom. Not only that, the maids and the helpers that helped take care of the kids also scorned her and made fun of her because they didn't take her seriously. They thought she couldn't make her own decisions about anything. They thought she couldn't figure out things on her own. And that was her experience as queen running that kingdom. And the Emerald King was very disturbed by this, very upset by this. So, over the course of the next few weeks, he made up a special holiday that wasn't actually real. He made it up and created flyers and told the guardsmen to spread the word that this new holiday would include emissaries from all the countries around them, including hers. And as they got the paperwork ready, they sent it on over. And they invited the queen over to the kingdom for this new special holiday that didn't really exist. And the king welcomed all the emissaries from the countries. And as they were celebrating this new holiday, he asked to talk to the queen alone. And she said yes. And as they walked through the courtyard, they walked around the gardens of the kingdom. She asked him a question because she was a bit uncertain. She asked him, "Why did you summon me here for this holiday?" And the Emerald King was kind of amused by that because he had something very important to tell her. But before that, he had a question for her. He asked, "Have you ever thought about what the difference between men and women are?" And she thought about it for a while and she said, "Well, some of the things, yes, but I'm usually too busy trying to put out fires and deal with people and problems. I don't really have time to myself much." And the Emerald King smiled because he knew he was right about her. He said, "Women have several wonderful qualities about them that make them amazing, whether it be their ability to emotionally connect with people, whether it be their willingness, their attentiveness to listen to others and their problems, their willingness to care about other people when it really matters." And there's a lot more other qualities just beyond these. All these qualities that really make and define you as a woman, these are things that I don't have. I'm not a woman. I can only look at and appreciate and admire and put a lot of value on those qualities you have as a woman. And it's really there that I have to ask you a question. And the queen looked a bit puzzled. She's like, what's that? And the king asks, I see each and every one of these wonderful qualities, these amazing qualities of being a fully actualized woman, a compassionate woman, a strong woman, an extremely feminine woman in you. I see many of these qualities in you whenever you talk, whenever you laugh, whenever you do things. I see each of these qualities. And yet, every time I see these qualities in you, they get stamped down and repressed because you're constantly doing everybody's job for them. You have to be wife. You have to be queen. You have to run the country. You have to manage expectations. You have to listen to and deal with and work with the people of your kingdom to keep them happy. And that's on top of being a mother to your children, which takes up a lot of time, I'm sure. Let me ask you something. And she kind of stopped and she didn't know what to say. She thought about it for a moment. She's like, what's that? And he's like, has anyone ever looked at all the stuff you did, all the work you put into helping those around you, helping your children, making your life and their life better in every way? Has anyone ever looked at all the sacrifices you've made, even stopped for 5 minutes to look at all the sacrifices you made and told you that they appreciate everything you've done for them, all the sacrifices you've made, all the things you had to give up for them? And it was at that point she looked at him for a moment and she started breaking down crying. It was at that moment that she realized that nobody had ever understood or taken the time to figure out what her life was really like. So that is the story. That is the story of the abandoned queen and the Emerald King. And like you, I hope you get some meaning out of it in your life and those people around you. So if you liked the story, comment below, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and leave a message. Let me know what you think of it. So this is Dennis Harris. I'm a board certified hypnotist with Southeast Missouri Hypnosis Foundation, and I am signing off.